welcome to the Core Connection. I'm Mira Rubin here with you on Enlightened World Network. And today's topic is attitudes about money. Money is such a big part of our lives, whether we want to admit it or not. And our attitudes about money influence our experience of abundance in a big way. So we're going to have a conversation about that today. It should be interesting and fun, I think. Anyway, before we get started, let's take a minute or two to get present. So let's take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it. And imagine clean, crisp oxygen flooding your lungs, flowing into your bloodstream, nourishing all your cells, all your organs, bringing vital life energy to your body and being. And as you exhale, exhale any negativity, stress, tension, fatigue. And now let's take another deep breath in through your nose and hold it. This time, imagine brilliant, bright light lighting you up from the inside out, illuminating, electrifying, energizing all your cells, all your molecules and electrons, and illuminating you so that you glow out into the world beyond with vital life energy. As you exhale, exhale any remaining tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's just gently press our palms together and very softly rub your fingers against your palms to feel the deliciousness of that sensation and to bring yourselves present right here, right now, to these remarkable bodies that are the vehicle for our experience of life. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So good to be here with you. And money, it's a hot topic. It's a hot potato type topic because we have so many conflicting feelings about money, and a lot of those attitudes kind of keep us from receiving abundance. Money is a vehicle of exchange, and it is a vehicle of abundance in our culture. Not the only vehicle of abundance, but certainly one of them. And a lot of you who've been here before know that I have a podcast with my partner in crime there called Sustainability Now. And every Thursday night, we do a movie night. Good morning, Rosalind. So good to have you here this morning. We're talking about money because so many of us have issues around money. Yesterday, we talked about cryptocurrency, but today we're going to talk about money. Anyway, last night for our movie night, we showed a film called Crazy Money, and it was about it was a documentary of a part of an experiment that was done where people in a particular community in Uganda were given a fixed amount of money over the course of 2 years. Every month they had a certain revenue, and the experiment was that they had the option to receive the money or not to receive the money. And they also had the option to do with the money whatever they chose. And the movie I found it very disturbing just to see all the dynamics that emerged. Some people did really well. They invested, they started businesses. Other people built houses. Other people fought over their money, and one of the themes that emerged was money is everything. Good morning, Julie. Welcome. So good to have you here with us. And so there were people that are saying that money is the foundation of life, and I want to challenge that. You know, money is not the foundation of life. Money is a vehicle of exchange. And I think that so many of us have a lot of negative associations around money. So for instance, I've encountered multiple people who have had the experience of being given money in lieu of affection or in lieu of love and care. And, it's just like throw money at a situation or at a relationship and that'll fix it. And as a result of that kind of dynamic, have just sort of pushed money away and said, I don't want your money. And when we say, I don't want your money, when we have that deeply held attitude, what is going on underneath that? It's creating this rejection of something that is a vehicle of exchange, and is also something that it enables us to create abundance for others. Even, like when we have money, we have the ability to give money. We have the ability to do things in the world that we wouldn't otherwise be able to do the way things are established right now. There needs to be some kind of means of exchange. It's just that with money, there have been so many, so many abuses, I guess we can say, that it's easy to focus on the abuses rather than finding a way to reshape those ideas, because those ideas keep us in a place of neediness, or in keep us in a place of insecurity, in many cases, financial insecurity. So I can't say how many healer people I know who struggle financially, and the artists too. It's really interesting. I have a friend who's a magnificently talented artist who has had tremendous struggles with money, and it came from adopting. Well, if I'm an artist, starving artist, there's this whole thing about some kind of glory about being a starving artist. And she's, fortunately, I'm so pleased to see that she has moved out of that into an abundance mindset, and then flow of life happens a whole lot better. Money becomes a symbol for so many things for us. We all have the awareness of the phrase, money is the root of all evil. And actually I think the correct rendition of that is love of money is the root of all evil. But when we allow ourselves to money as a flow of communication, then it can change our relationship to it. And here's another instance of a friend who was talking about how they were a loser, and that was due to the financial results that they had in life, which, by the way, happened to be a lot more substantial than many people. And I think it's very interesting how we judge our own intrinsic worth based on the amount of money we have, which is a culturally conditioned situation. It's not that it's in any way true. Whether I have no money or I have billions of dollars, it doesn't make me as an individual intrinsically more valuable. What it does do potentially is multiply my impact in the world. Not necessarily. Money is not the only vehicle, certainly, of impact. However, when we have more money, it's easier to create a bigger impact, potentially. Like in general, we'll say as a general rule. When we have more money, we have more freedom. One of the people in the movie that I was talking about, Crazy Money, was talking about how more money, he actually made a racial correlation, that white people have more money, tend to have more money than Black people or brown people. And this was his experience, but he said, because there's more money, there's more opportunity. So there's more opportunity for education. There's more opportunity for innovation. When there's more money, there are more possibilities open to us. When we realize that if we're not in a position to be having to worry about where our next meal is coming from or where we're being sheltered, then there's more freedom to be entertaining other ideas. It makes sense, right? And so I think when we recognize our attitudes about money, when we bring them conscious and present, then we have the ability to start shifting those attitudes and ideas and associations. So if we have it, if, for instance, someone gives us money but isn't giving us the love that we desire, it sets up, or it can potentially set up in our heart and mind a dichotomy between love and money, and that we can't have love and money both, that it's one or the other. And, they say you can't buy happiness. And they also say, but it makes it a whole lot easier to be happy, well, when there is money. Now, I wonder if we can translate that to, it makes it a whole lot easier to be happy when our needs are met. And money is not necessarily the vehicle of having our needs met, certainly not all of our needs. But I think that one of the things that's so important for us as a human family on this planet is to transform our relationship with money so that we don't abuse it in the way that we have, where in so many cases we see that money has given license to do all kinds of horrible things, where people in pursuit of money, companies in pursuit of increasing the bottom line, do all kinds of horribly immoral actions that impact many people, and all in the name of increasing their bottom line. So when we have money as a primary value, money, wealth, there's a correlation between wealth and power. When the pursuit is for more of everything, more money, more power, more influence, then we lose sight of our humanity in many cases. When we pursue money for itself, then we have lost ourselves. We have lost our connection, I think, with our inner self, as well as our collective self, connected selves, our connection to the whole. And so we also have a lot of perceptions around abundance. So we can move from the conversation of money to abundance, where if I have more, it means you have less. And that's not necessarily the truth at all, but that is our conditioning. And when we operate in life from that conditioned place of us and them, oppositional kinds of relationships, then we're perpetuating all the things about money that lead us into an experience of lack, and also an experience of separation. So one of the things that I see in the way that we exist currently, in this culture anyway, is that if we're going to change the things we need to change to make the world a livable place for human beings, to enable it to continue to be, or to regenerate it, then we must transform our attitudes around money and lack, scarcity, abundance, and oneness. That when we recognize that we are all part of one big family, that we all impact each other, then we get to look at different ways to be creating economies and our attitudes around abundance. You know, I'm picking on a whole lot of different cliches, but they say a rising tide raises all ships. And as we grow our own abundance, we have the ability to be sharing that out, and still thriving. That in our thriving, we can support others in thriving as well. And a big portion of that is our mindset. A big portion of it is our willingness to receive, our ability to receive. So I'm just curious, like, what kinds of ideas do you have about money that might be an inhibition for you? Like, another one I noticed for myself over the years, I've done a lot of work around money. I had a lot of stuff going on around money. I've done a lot of work over the years to be dealing with the idea that money brings responsibility, and feeling overwhelmed by the possibility of the power of that responsibility. You know, like how to manage that level of responsibility if there were lots and lots and lots of money. And I think that a lot of people are intimidated by money and the management of money, and not wanting to have their whole lives be about managing money. And the fortunate thing is that if you get into a position where you need somebody to manage your money, then there are people that are available to do that and who are really good at doing that. I'm wondering what other kinds of obstacles do we create for ourselves around being able to be productive, and not just productive, but receiving the abundance or the compensation for the work we do. For instance, so many healer people are unable to feel worthy of receiving. So Julie says, money's very tricky for me, brings fear for me. So Julie, I think that that's not uncommon at all. I think that that's really, really common, is that, you know, money's scary. So what is it about money that's scary? So let's just unpack this a little bit. You know, is it the responsibility? Is it the underlying belief that if I have more, it means you have less? It means that I've taken from you somehow. What else might be scary about money? If you have it, losing it. That's an interesting one too, is it was really interesting. At one point I had $9 to my name, literally. And that was all I had. And no property, no nothing else, just $9. And in that position, there were a lot of different emotions, but in one respect, there was a freedom to it, as crazy as that may sound. There was fear about, oh, how am I gonna pay my rent? How am I gonna buy food? How am I, like that's real too, or I made it real anyway. However, there was also the attitude of, well, I guess I have nothing to lose. And so I could take risks that I wouldn't necessarily otherwise take. Like when so Julie says, never had it growing up. So I fear never having enough of it to make it through this world. So Julie, I used to have visions of being a bag lady, for sure, for a good portion of my life. And I think when we face those fears, so Julie says, I hold it too tight now for fear of losing it, right? So I think we get to have this balance, like where do we find the balance of spending money and holding money? So Julie says, I want to be more free with it. So I think one of the things that I noticed is that as I started to have some money, I got afraid of losing it for a while. And now, we talked about the crypto market yesterday. I've been in the crypto market for several years and seen it go through radical swings, seen my portfolio go from like crazy highs to lows that were higher than anything I'd had before. And so going back and forth through that over and over again, maybe has helped to allow me to be less attached to the money. I think when we connect more to trusting the universe to that everything is deeper, we move into that space, that's when money flows more easily, where we can have it and spend it, I guess, more in a more balanced way. It's interesting, a pattern that I used to see for me is I would get some money and then all of a sudden all these expenses would come and it would disappear my money, whatever I had accumulated. And so what was going on for me is like like every time I would have these some accumulation of money, and bam, expense after expense or extreme circumstance after another. It was just bizarre. And so what we get to do is to look at, where that sticking point is. So Julie, you say it brings up fear for you and fear of lack because you've been there and you want to be able to be more free with it. I get it. So what's underneath? What are the actual fears? If you actually allow yourself to dig in and look at what are the specific fears around money and what are the beliefs around money that you have, like it's a limited supply. I think we tend to believe that money is in limited supply, and the thing is that there are all different ways that abundance can come to us, and completely unpredictable ways. When we're in alignment with the universe, and I know that might sound trite, but when we're in alignment, things flow, magic happens all the time, and opportunities happen all the time. And just because we can't see it doesn't mean it's not a possibility. We often box ourselves into a very limited range of possibilities. So Rosalind says fear of not being taken care of. Yes. And you know, it's interesting because the fear of not being taken care of, it's a fear. And I'm not going to say no reason to have that fear, because many of us have had all kinds of experiences that give us reason to have that fear. I think that we get to move into a frequency of abundance and receiving, like allowing. You know, how many times do people offer you a gift and you say, oh, no, no, no. You know, somebody says, oh, let me pay for that, or let me get here, let me give this to you. And you go, no, 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 that's too much. Thank you so much. No, no. You know, where we reject the abundance that is being channeled our way, right? And I think that same attitude carries over to money. Like, you may be a brilliant healer, and yet you don't feel comfortable receiving exchange payment for your services. And it's a matter of value that we ascribe to ourselves, to our work, to our energies, to our well, to ourselves. You know, it comes down to worthiness. And it's so interesting, the money thing, because it is a hydra. It has many, many, many faces. So Julie says, oh my God, that's me for sure. So, you know, probably you're really generous with others, but when it comes to being able to receive, that's a whole different thing. So many healer people are chronic givers, but not receivers, and oftentimes feel like they're being taken advantage of after a point, maybe feeling resentful because they give and give and give, and then people take and take and take, and don't give back in return. And if we have attracted those people that are willing to take and take and take without reciprocity, then that's a reflection of our own frequency. That's a reflection of our own worthiness. So we get to our own experience of our worthiness. It's not of our actual worthiness. It's that we feel unworthy, and in some way less than. So we get to look at these things and unpack it, and as we recognize it, then we have an ability to start addressing it. This is an interesting story, and then I'm going to go for the morning. But I had a friend that I hadn't yet really gone into starting my practice as doing the core connection work. I've been doing the work for more than, had been doing the work for more than 30 years, but I hadn't started a practice. And I had a friend that I had been giving all kinds of coaching and sessions to for an extended period of time. And finally, it just felt really uneven for me. And I decided I'm starting my practice. And I am happy to continue as friends, but if you want to continue to receive sessions and coaching, then you're going to, there needs to be a fee for it. And the response that I got was such a reaction that there was so much resistance and anger and indignation. How dare I say that, well, now I'm going to charge for the services. If you want to continue having these services, then I'm going to charge for them. And I'm going to extend the same fee to you that I would extend to other people, because I had given and given and given. And the person was so indignant. And it was really an interesting dynamic for me, because at first, it's almost like I was begging. And then finally, I just got to the point where I was able to be fully in my value, to say, that's just how it is, like, this is non-negotiable. And my services have value. And it was really something that I had to fight through. It was like having to fight through a fog to get to a point where I could just be whole, to say, no, that's what I charge, instead of being apologetic about it or being defensive about it. There was a lot of defensiveness that I experienced, and I felt a bunch of indignation myself and reactivity, because I felt like it was a personal affront, and that it was so interesting, the whole thing, because what I realized I did is I changed the rules midstream, right? And we get to do that, and sometimes it costs us relationships. And it did end up in the ending of that friendship, because both of us were seeing our own vantage point, our own perspective. But to move from that place of giving, and to feel worthy, and to a place of feeling worthy, and then giving accordingly from that. So the original giving had in it a neediness, and ultimately that neediness is something I resolved. Julie says, thank you so much, Mira. This has helped me so much. God bless you for all you do for so many. Julie, thank you. I'm so glad to hear it's made a difference. I mean, this money thing is a big deal for so many people, and certainly for so many healer people. So I'm glad it's helped. And there's a book by Lynn Twist called The Soul of Money that you might want to check into. It's a wonderful book, and it allows us to shift our relationship with money. And there's another book also by Kyle Cease, and I'm trying to remember the title. Let me just see if I can find it before I leave for today. It is called The Illusion of Money. So The Soul of Money by Lynn Twist, and The Illusion of Money by Kyle Cease. In that book, The Illusion of Money has a whole bunch of exercises that you can do to kind of get underneath what is going on with you around money. And Soul of Money may have some exercises too. I'm not sure. So anyway, have an abundant and prosperous weekend. And I just want to say thank you for being here, for contributing, not only to me, but to everybody else who gets to participate or hear these talks. And until next time, right? I'm Mira Rubin. This is the Core Connection, and I go live here on the Enlightened World Facebook page every weekday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. And I invite you to check out all the other awesome programming on Enlightened World Network and Enlightened World Living and EWN One with the Earth. And it is my privilege and honor to spend these mornings with you. So with so much gratitude. Be abundant.